What's up guys, welcome back to another Black Ops Cold War video. In today's video we're going to be going over all of the latest leaks and rumors regarding this year's Call of Duty game. So, if you guys are not aware by now, yesterday we actually had gameplay of multiplayer that was leaked. We had actual gameplay footage of that, so I have a video of that up on my channel, so you guys should go and check that out. Fair warning, I didn't mention this in the video really explain it that well. But that video doesn't actually contain the leaked footage, and that is because that footage is being copyright struck on YouTube. So if you upload that footage, your channel will receive a copyright strike. And this is actually something that happened to the Gaming Revolution. He uploaded that footage and Activision copyright struck his channel and removed the video. But what's interesting though is that they copyright struck it as the content used being called COD 2020. So this confirms that is from this year's Call of Duty game. All that footage is 100% real, but that's why I cannot actually show it. And I guess this made a lot of people mad yesterday, so they clicked off the video early. But I guarantee you guys, you will not be able to watch that footage on YouTube. There's no channel you guys can go to watch that video on YouTube because Activision is constantly removing it and striking people's channels if they do upload that footage or link to it. But just Google the footage and you'll be able to find it. And just after a few hours, somebody came up with this image of what the footage actually looks like, because Activision can't take this down because it's not actual footage of the game. This is just like a representation of that footage that we saw. So that's what it looks like. Here's the weapon that we saw. People have broken this footage down, and we got a lot of information about yesterday's leaks. So about this specific weapon, I saw one person say that it looks like an AK-5C and that the weapon came out in 1986, so it could be, set around the Cold War. I also saw another person saying that it's a Dao K2, a South Korean assault rifle made around the 1970s and mainly in use by the 80s, sharing similarities such as the Stone 63's fixed ejector and the FAL's gas plug. It was also imported to the US in the 80s, and he also says it's the same company that made the K7 and COD Ghosts. So if that's the case, then it lines up with this game being a Cold War game, is that it's based off of a real-life weapon, which a lot of weapons in Call of Duty games are based on reality. But it's kind of cool to see this one specifically because, there are some weapons that are obviously fictionalized, but this one appears to be a real-life weapon. And also lines up with the whole theme, though, as if this game will be taking place in the Cold War, as the name would suggest. Although yesterday I was seeing a bunch of people sharing rumors and stuff going around that this game was actually going to take place in the future. And when I just saw that, I just kind of blew that off as like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense. Why would they call it Black Ops Cold War if it takes place in the future, right? Like, apparently the game's supposed to take place in, like, Vietnam, the Cold War, but it take place in the future and having flashbacks? It kind of worked in Black Ops 2, but Black Ops 2 is marketed as a futuristic Call of Duty game, not, oh hey, it's like another Black Ops game taking place in, like, the 70s and the 80s and stuff. I just want to throw that out there for you guys that apparently this year's game might take place in the future. I don't know if I believe that, but that's just one of the latest rumors going around right now. But also regarding that footage, we heard from a couple people about that leak. One person was saying that there's no sliding mechanic in the game yet. He says that right now when holding crouch, it takes you to the crouch position, so no sliding, no dolphin diving. It's just like, say, Modern Warfare 3 or Modern Warfare 2, how if you crouch, like if you push the button, you just crouch and then go prone. There's no sliding and there's no dolphin diving. But of course this could change because we've had sliding basically since Ghost. Like Ghost introduced sliding, and we had it also in Advanced Warfare, basically every single game since then. I like sliding, I think that's good, but also dolphin diving has been pretty fun. I think Black Ops 2 is the last game we actually had dolphin diving in, and that's kind of cool. Then he also says that in this build, in its current state, dead silence is not a perk, so is it going to be like an ability like it has been in the last couple Call of Duty games and not a perk? Yeah, it looks like that's more and more a possibility. The Call of Duty competitive community isn't too happy about that. But the multiplayer map that was actually being played on here was apparently called Tank. And he says, obviously, more than likely, that's a placeholder name. Some of the textures are out of the game's alleged time, but it's typically a placeholder as this is pre-alpha footage. I mentioned this in yesterday's video as to how there's M1 Abrams tanks there, but those weren't involved in the Cold War, and a lot of those textures and stuff are from a game like Black Ops 4, and that's just what it is. It's just placeholder assets and textures and stuff, and it's not actually what the final game is going to look like. And then one last thing about this leaked gameplay though is that somebody says that it looks like they use the same engine as Modern Warfare 2019. The game looks and apparently plays a lot like Modern Warfare 2019. He says it seems like that in a Black Ops 3/Black Ops 4 engine. So looks like Treyarch has taken that same engine that Infinity Ward has used with Modern Warfare and it's kind of changed it around a little bit, but as we're going to talk about in a second, it's a whole lot like Modern Warfare. So we have some huge new leaks today about like the campaign and about multiplayer stuff. Before we get into that, real quick, I just want to go over some other things discussed about this year's game. This is coming from Long Sensation on Twitter regarding how previously he reported that Warzone was going to be integrated into this year's game and that this year's game was not going to have its own battle royale, that it was going to be integrated with Warzone, probably with a new map. That in this year's game, there's going to be like a button in the menu similar to in Modern Warfare, how it says Warzone in there, that if you know in Black Ops Cold War, there's going to be a button that will take you into Warzone and have you play Warzone basically. But he made a follow-up tweet. He says, this probably makes a lot more sense now that we've seen footage. This is a big reason why Modern Warfare and COD 2020 looks so similar, is because they're using the same engine, which is how they're able to have Warzone accessed through the menu in COD 2020. And this next thing doesn't have really anything to do with Black Ops Cold War, what I wanted to share with you guys, and that is about the PlayStation 5's reveal. It has been rescheduled, and Long Sensation, he says that the current plan is to have the PlayStation 5 be revealed at the end of June / beginning of July, but he says nothing is set in stone for obvious reasons, but it also kind of lines up, maybe they're going to be trying to compete with Microsoft and reveal it around the same time as them too. I don't know, pretty cool. That's PlayStation 5, that's not Black Ops Cold War, so let's get back to that. And last thing from Long Sensation though, is that he has a follow-up tweet about those 4 multiplayer maps that were leaked. I have a video specifically talking about that, if you guys haven't seen that already. Basically, Nuketown, Jungle, Summit, and Firing Range are going to be remastered maps coming to Black Ops Cold War, and he made a follow-up tweet, and he said, not sure on when they will be released at launch or if they'll be DLC, but they will be more similar to the original maps than the previous remasters, likely because the originals just, quote, fit in, end quote, with the direction of the next title. So kind of interesting though, they'll be more similar to the original maps than previous remasters. Okay, so remasters as what? Like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4? How we had Summit, Firing Range, and Jungle? I mean, those looked just about exactly the same as the Black Ops 1 versions. So how can they be more similar to the Black Ops 1 version than they already had? I don't know. I feel like he's more than likely referencing Nuketown though here, is that he's saying that Nuketown is more similar to the original map than in previous remasters. I don't think he's really talking about Jungle, Summit, and Firing Range, because like you can't really get much closer to the original than they already did with Jungle, Summit, and Firing Range. And Nuketown is at Nuketown 2025, Nuketown with a 3 in Black Ops 3, and then you also have the Nuketown, which was like the Cold War, the Russian version in Black Ops 4. So I think what he's mentioning here though is that Nuketown is most similar to the Black Ops 1 version, because it just, as he says here, it fits in with the direction of the next title, because it's a Cold War game. So it was Black Ops 1. Black Ops 1's a Cold War game, you know, Vietnam era. But now and lastly for this video, let's talk about these newest leaks regarding the campaign and multiplayer. So this is coming from Victor over on Twitter. He put out a series of tweets the other day talking about the campaign for this year's game. And the first tweet he says here is that this account will not tell me about the new work of the COD in the future. As a Chinese, I was a little disappointed to see the content of the COD 2020 campaign. The multiplayer is played the same as Modern Warfare, so I didn't quite understand this tweet, but I mean, as a Chinese, I was a little disappointed to see the content of the COD 2020 campaign. What does that mean? Is that like in reference to like the Korean War and how the Koreans are portrayed? Something like that, I don't know. But interesting thing though here is that he says the multiplayer is played the same as Modern Warfare. Like we saw with the footage, it looks similar to Modern Warfare, but he's saying here that the multiplayer is played the same as Modern Warfare. So people had a bunch of questions about that. He says, what do you mean played like the same as Modern Warfare? Skill-based matchmaking, camping, big maps, leveling systems, slow and tactical gameplay? Then if that's the case, I'll find it hard to play that again for another year. And he just says Modern Warfare 2.0. So yeah, it basically looks like we're kind of going to be getting a reskinned Modern Warfare. Like he says here, skill-based matchmaking, I mean, we've had that in Call of Duty for a number of years now, so that's not really anything new, but it's pretty obvious it will be in this new game. Camping, big maps, leveling systems, slow and tactical gameplay, apparently that's going to be the same thing here. I don't like that. I don't really love Modern Warfare's multiplayer. The maps are just too big, and it just encourages camping, way too slow, and it's just not a Black Ops feel. Like, it kind of works for Modern Warfare, yeah, whatever, I guess, but Treyarch has always had a fast-paced gameplay and has had it be really entertaining. So if we go from something like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 to all of a sudden now being so slow and spread out, that's gonna suck. And then I also really hope that the leveling system is different, that it's more similar to previous games where you actually have prestiges rather than Modern Warfare's stupid system of, oh, you only have 155 levels. But oh, don't forget, you have to rank those back up every 2 months when the new season comes out. I think it's just dumb. I was just ready to be done with this year's game and go back to a traditional Black Ops Treyarch game, but apparently that might not be the case. Somebody asked him if he has any news, if they plan to reveal the campaign first and wait on the multiplayer, and he says the very first trailer for this game will be to promote the plot. So yeah, that's pretty standard though. You put out a trailer describing kind of like the campaign and what the game is about, and then later then they're going to reveal multiplayer, then I'm sure they're going to reveal zombies and stuff, but like it's already June and we don't have any official trailers and stuff yet. So when will we see a trailer? I don't know, next week maybe, week after. We really have no idea when we're going to see anything for this game. There's 0 leaks right now as to when anything about this game will be revealed. And the last thing though is that somebody asked him, how is the quality of the new work? Is it the same or is it better than 16? Or is it a return to the Black Ops cartoon style? So real quick, I don't know what he's meaning by 16, but is it a return to the Black Ops cartoon style? He says that nothing has changed though. So it looks like this year's game is going to play really similar to Modern Warfare. And honestly, I don't like that, dude. I think that each game needs to have its own identity. Like, yeah, sure, Modern Warfare is apparently the best-selling game in Call of Duty's history, and that it's so popular and all this stuff. I don't think that they need to adjust Black Ops Cold War and adjust this new game and make it basically just a clone and a reskin of Modern Warfare then, because like to me, if I want to play Modern Warfare, I'm going to go play Modern Warfare. I don't want to play the same exact game but just reskin to be Black Ops. Like, I like Black Ops for Black Ops. And I hope Treyarch sees this and that they will actually make the game theirs rather than just copying whatever Infinity Ward does. I think it's dumb. But I really hope that this game is fun though, dude, because if not, I think I'm just out. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Modern Warfare, and apparently if this year's game is just basically reskinned, plays identical to it, then hey, that's it, dude. Game over. But there we go, that is the latest leaks and rumors and stuff going around about this year's game. It doesn't fill me with a whole lot of confidence, and I mean, hey, maybe that's why Treyarch hasn't shown anything yet, because they're not very confident with this year's game either, so I don't know, I think we're in for a very interesting year. All we can do really now is wait. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this talk about the multiplayer campaign and all this different stuff about all these leaks and stuff? Let me know all this stuff in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.